Zoe was touched by Blaine's assurance that he could help her mother. She knew that he was comforting her, although his attitude was not obvious. Zoe clutched the number he had given her for an appointment and said softly, "Thank you, Blaine." Blaine nodded lightly and didn't say anything else. He turned around and prepared to leave. However, he stopped when he felt her small hand touch his arm tentatively. Blaine frowned slightly. He glanced at Zoe out of the corner of her eye, but he didn't turn his head back, nor did he speak. "Your injury on your back, how is it?" Zoe asked, unable to hold her concern in any longer. Blaine shook Zoe's hand off. "Miss Fuller, whether my injury is better or worse has nothing to do with you." After he finished speaking, Blaine started walking away from her. As Blaine walked, he dialed the hospital's director's number. "Tell the director I need to speak to him about his proposal to charge visitors for coffee. It hardly serves our reputation as a place of healing if we can't even provide our patients' families with this basic courtesy. What next? Are we going to make them pay the cable television charges in the waiting room?" "Yes, good idea. Go get him. I'll hold." She saw Blaine shake his head in aggravation. Zoe watched Blaine's white back disappear around the corner. Listening to him speak righteously to the hospital director, Zoe's heavy heart seemed to feel lighter suddenly. Just seeing Blaine made her feel slightly better. He had given her the hope she so desperately needed right now. At noon, Zoe brought her mother to the hospital for her appointment with Blaine. Gloria heard Blaine would be the one treating her tumor, and an argument ensued. Her mother was extremely unhappy, but Zoe didn't care. She told her mother that she needed the best surgeon, and since Blaine was the best, he was the doctor Zoe would be taking her to see. Gloria eventually gave in. However, when Blaine walked into the exam room, Gloria's expression was still far from friendly. "Hello, Mrs. Fuller." Blaine politely greeted her as he sat down. "Mom," Zoe quietly prompted her mother under her breath to be polite. Gloria shot her daughter a look out of the corner of her eye before reluctantly offering a curt, "Hello. May I take a look at the CT of Mrs. Fuller's brain?" Blaine's question was directed to Zoe as he got straight to the point. Zoe quickly passed the CT image to him. Blaine took the image out and placed it on the light board. Zoe silently watched as he carefully studied it for a while. The expression on his handsome face remained carefully neutral throughout his inspection. Finally, Blaine turned his chair around and faced Zoe and Gloria. He placed his hands on the table and said seriously, "Mrs. Fuller, I'm going to be honest with you. Your tumor is indeed located in a difficult position. An operation of this sort would be quite tricky." Hearing this, Zoe's face immediately paled. Gloria, beside her daughter, took the news much more calmly. She only said, "It's all right, Dr. Dexter, do your best. There's really no other way. If the operation works or not, I have no real choice. I've had a lot of good years, so if this is my time, I'll understand." "Mom, how can you say such a thing? I won't allow you to speak such depressing words." Zoe turned to Blaine. "Dr. Dexter, can this tumor be removed?" Blaine didn't directly answer Zoe's question. He just pointed at Gloria's CT scan and explained to both women in a serious tone. "This brain tumor is located close to the great arteries and compressing the optic nerve at the same time. I'll be honest, most surgeons wouldn't even attempt such an operation." "Dr. Dexter, just say it. What are my chances?" Gloria asked. "The success rate for this type of operation is less than 20%. Not only could the operation fail to remove all the tumor, but even if it is successful, the tumor's proximity to the optic nerve could result in other permanent damage, such as blindness. This operation has a significant risk, and while I am willing to attempt it, before I do so, I must be sure that both of you, as the patient and your family, understand the possible outcomes. Also, Mrs. Fuller, I recommend that if you are going to proceed with the operation, you should be immediately admitted to the hospital." Upon hearing what Blaine said, Gloria immediately shook her head, rejecting him. No, I'm living at home. Why would I need to stay in the hospital?" "Dr. Dexter, can I trouble you to arrange for my mom's hospitalization?" Zoe ignored her mother and decided for her. "Zoe, no, I won't allow it." Gloria immediately argued. "Mom, this is not optional. Please don't make me worry about this." Zoe knew what her mother wasn't saying out loud. Her mom was worried that the cost would be too high when Zoe was already stretched to her limit taking care of Max. Looking into her daughter's anxious eyes, Gloria didn't continue to be stubborn and agreed. Blaine accompanied Zoe to complete her mother's admission paperwork. Blaine handed his black card to the hospital cashier without Zoe saying anything. He knew Zoe couldn't afford it unless she used his card. As Blaine signed the receipt, Zoe stood next to him and felt embarrassed. "Blaine, thank you," she said quietly. "Don't worry, I'll pay you back." Zoe would be getting paid at the end of the week and figured she could give him money towards this then. But after signing, Blaine put down the pen in his hand and passed the slip through the window. He then looked at Zoe indifferently and ridiculed. "Pay me? With what?" Zoe bit her lips, immediately feeling her embarrassment grow. Blaine handed her mother's admission registration forms to Zoe and said indifferently, "Keep your phone open. I will naturally give you the chance to pay me back." Zoe's face paled. Of course, she understood the meaning behind his words. How else would she be able to pay him back other than with her body? Zoe wanted to say something, but Blaine had already turned and left indifferently.
Hi, Zoe here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Rekindled Heartache now.